If you watch a lot of GMBN videos, then how many times have we probably told you that tubeless is better? It's lighter and you're not going to get so many punctures. Well, in this video, we're going to go out and we're going to prove that. We're going to see, is it lighter and are you going to get less punctures with some tests? So let's get straight into it. So if you don't know what tubeless is, it's basically that you ditch the inner tube. You need some tape, you're going to need a valve, some sealant, bung all that together with your wheel and your tire, and hey presto, you're tubeless and ready to ride. If you want to know how to do it, then we've got a full in-depth video showing you how to do that. But let's get into the first example. First up, tubeless is lighter. Let's just prove that. So I'm going to add on to the scales that I've got set up right here, my super light carbon FSA rim. Okay, then we're going to add on the tire. Okay, so that is weighing in at 1.615. And then lastly, we're going to add that inner tube on. So for this setup, it is coming in at 1.855. Let's now take this tube back off. We're going to put the valve into the rim itself, if I can find the valve hole, or I'll just pop it into the tire. So now, let us add 100 ml of tubeless sealant. So that's going to take me down to that line right here. Okay, so that's the final bit of my sealant added in. I've got 100 ml in there, which is the correct amount as per the bottle. And the weight, well, 1.74 kilograms. So it's a whole 100 grams lighter. Myth bust 1 done, because tubeless is lighter. Okay, so we've proved that tubeless setup is 100 grams of saving per wheel. But what does that actually mean on the bike? Because you're going to save some rotational mass. Now, rotational mass is that mass that is actually always moving. So things like your wheels is where it's going to have the biggest effect. Stationary mass, well, that is something like the frame itself or even the shock on the bike. But how does that affect you when you're riding? Well, it can be said that rotational mass can have up to 3 times the effect of that stationary mass. So we've just saved 100 grams. So times that by 3, we've saved 300 grams, and then we've got 2 wheels. So you've saved 600 grams for quite an easy and simplistic upgrade that's not going to cost you too much. Now this is all done with the moment of inertia formula. If we've got any scientists out there, then we'd love for you to prove that we are right, or even if we are wrong, you can let us know in the comment section down below, and I will be marking your work. So we've learned tubeless is lighter, you've got less rotational weight, but what we really want to know is, are you going to get less punctures? So let's test it out, because I've got the wheel and the jig. I'm going to take my tool right here. This is representing a thorn. We're going to stab it into the tire, put a hole in it, and find out if it'll seal. So, are you ready for this? 3, 2, 1, and I'm taking my tool to the tire. Okay, you can hear that air coming out. Let's give it a spin and get it to seal, hopefully. Okay, we've got the sealant coming out. No air is escaping. Okay, so that goes to prove that the sealant, the tubeless setup, has done its job. Now, if you had a tube inside that wheel, if you went and stabbed that in, it would be game over, because you would not be able to seal the tube. The air would be escaping and your ride would be over. So that's another tick for tubeless. Okay, so moving on, we get an object into the tire. Let's talk about more of an impact one, and such called a snake bite. Now, what actually happens when you get the snake bite is that you've got your impact. I'm going to use my hand as an example, and it's going straight in, it's going through the tire, hitting the tube onto the rim. Now that impact, because they're combining against 2 things and the tube is in the middle of it, the tube is actually going to get pinched, and that's what causes a snake bite. There's 2 tiny little holes, almost like snake fangs have gone into that tube itself, and that's what creates a puncture. Now with tubeless, because you haven't got a tube in there, you're not going to get those snake bites. So that is another reason why you want to run tubeless, and of course, less punctures means more riding time. So because you've got better puncture protection with the tubeless system, it means in turn you can actually get more grip. And what I mean by this is that you can actually run less pressure. Because if you think about it, you're going to have more pressure running a tube system because you don't want to bottom out really hard going through and getting a snake bite, or you don't want to get something going into the tire. So you've got to run a little bit higher pressure, but because you eliminate those two problems with the tubeless system, you can take a little bit of pressure out. Now, I'm not talking about a huge amount here. I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 PSI. It all comes down to a little bit of experimentation because you don't want that tire to roll or even burp beneath you. So take this one with a pinch of salt. Do a little bit of experimentation, take a few PSI out. You're gonna have more grip, which means you're gonna be able to rail those turns harder, and you're gonna be able to do some later braking, which all in turn means that you're gonna go faster and have more fun. Okay, so for our fifth and final test, I've got two wheels right here. The rims are identical, the tires are identical, and the pressures inside are identical. The only thing that is different is this one right here has got a tube, and this one, well, it is tubeless. Now what we're going to do is a little squeeze test to show you sort of the difference of when they actually deform under pressure. So if I squeeze this one right here, which has got the tube in it, you can actually feel that it's quite hard to deform the tire. But if I take my tubeless one, it's actually a little bit easier to deform that tire. Just because you don't have a tube inside of it, it means that it's going to take less resistance to actually deform that tire, meaning that you've got a little bit more compliancy with the bumps. It's going to absorb some of those lower impacts. Perhaps if you're going over roots and rocks at a lower pace, it's just going to give you a smoother ride. And this, it's not that noticeable to sort of the vast majority of riders. But if you're racing at the very top level, well, every little advantage really helps. Okay, there you go, some facts about why you might want to run tubeless. Hopefully I've myth-busted a whole pile of stuff and told you why you might want to run tubeless, because it's so easy and it's such a good upgrade that you'll probably never want to run that tube again. And if you want to watch more videos from GMBN, then make sure that you subscribe because you'll never miss another. And then click just up there for how to go tubeless, and click down there for how to set up your tire pressure. If you found this video useful, then share it with a friend and give us a thumb up like. Cheers!